Hey everybody, welcome to the show. How are you? I'm just saying. So, today I want to talk a little bit about some stuff that's been being said. Um, in the background, you're listening to Chicago. Does anybody really know what time it is? Ah, yeah. So, I lost my other glasses, so I have to take these off. Anyway, so listen, hold on, Chicago. So this whole Kavanaugh thing. So I've been suffering with my sciatica, and I'll be honest with you, my sciatica has been less painful than this whole Kavanaugh thing. I mean, the fact that there's a man who is trying to become a Supreme Court justice who is a complete privileged, spoiled brat white guy is just beyond amazing. But when you really look, that's mostly what the judicial system and everything consists of people who look like him. And even some of them are a little appalled at what some of the stuff that they've heard and, the things that he's done. So anyway, so my question is, and maybe I've just been thinking a little bit too much. This guy, his facial expressions, his grimace, his anger, his outbursts, his, temper tantrums. These are the kind of people that we don't want to sit on the Supreme Court justice. He doesn't deserve to be on it, in my opinion. Not only that, but he says he's going to get everybody back. I'll get all of you. It reminds me of a segment from the Martin Lawrence show when he was in court. And he said he was going to get all the jurors. I mean, the truth of the matter is, we don't want anybody like that. I mean, we have Clarence Thomas, who just, he doesn't say anything. He doesn't. I mean, what is he fighting for? I'm sure he fights for something. But my whole thing is, do we need another spoiled brat white guy on the Supreme Court? And he's going to get back everybody. He's not going to be happy with women at all. He does not want to be bothered. He's going to punish women. Anything that's for women, that's pro-women, he's going to be against it. I can guarantee you that because he's a spoiled brat. He's going to fix everybody. Trust me, he is. So if people protest, or even if they don't, people who look like him, they get the last say in all of this stuff. And it's not going to be for women, and it certainly ain't going to be for no people with color to their skin. So all I'm saying is, America, it's sad to say, but the truth is, and I'm going to give you a little bit of truth, so just hold on a second. So I just want to tell you, so while everyone talks about, this whole immigration and diversity and multiculturalism and all this stuff, I think you'd be interested to find out that a little research that I did is that I found interesting, and you might find it interesting too, but you may also know this. But let me remind you, when we talk about Mr. Kavanaugh, Judge Kavanaugh, becoming a part of the Supreme Court, there have been 3 people of color. Number one, let me just tell you first of all about Congress. So hold on one second. Okay, so anyway, it says 88% of white Americans are represented by someone white in the House versus 37% of Black Americans and 26% of Hispanics. For these calculations, we look at the non-Hispanic white and Black population count. 81% of men are represented by a man, which makes sense. Even that, only 19% of the members of the House are women, but a remarkable 70% of white American men live in a congressional district which is also represented by a white man. So it says more than half of the country are women, but more than 4/5 of the House are men. It's clearly not about majority population, because if that was the case, it would be more women than men. It says here's how the demographics of the nation's highest courts have stacked up since the beginning. So it says 4 have been women, which is Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan and Sandra Day O'Connor, who became the first woman in 1981, and she was, she resigned in 2006. So until 1981, the Supreme Court justice was male, all male. But Ronald Reagan promised he'd put a woman on the court. And during his first year in office, he kept his promise by appointing Sandra Day O'Connor. So anyway, Bill Clinton made his second female appointment by, he nominated Ruth Bader Ginsburg in 1993. All right. So, and there have only been 3 people of color on this Supreme Court. And only 2 have been African American justices, and that was Thurgood Marshall, my man, Thurgood Marshall, who is my inspiration for some of the stuff that I do. Thurgood Marshall and Clarence Thomas have served on the court so far, and so there have been no Black American females, not one. Not one. We've been here a long time, but a lot of times people say, oh, they're not competent, oh, they don't have what it takes, oh, whatever, Anyway, so there have been no Black females, no Black American females. And why having a diverse court matters? Well, that probably goes without saying. There's lots of reasons, okay? But I'll read what it says. It says, the Supreme Court has ruled on a diverse set of topics and sees a wide array of cases. That's number 1. Number 2, it's laid out decisions that affects many segments of the nation's population, like whether schools should be segregated, whether women can get abortion, and if public accommodations can refuse services based on religious beliefs. The court has heard cases that none of its members can directly relate to, and that is a problem. And it's not just there, it's everywhere in the court system. No matter who's making these laws, a lot of them have never even had a person with any color as a friend who had any pigment to their skin, really, and that's really sad. Anyway, the court has heard cases that none of the members can directly relate to. Obergefell versus Hodges, which legalized same-sex marriage and was decided by 9 justices, none of whom identified as gay. And 2016, Sotomayor said the court could use more diversity, and that goes without saying. A different perspective can permit you to be more fully understand the arguments that are before you and will help you to articulate your position in a way that everyone will understand, she said. Well, I agree. The thing is that in many leadership roles and positions that men get, a lot of them can't understand whether it's economics. And people like to say, oh, it's economics, it's economics. Yeah, but you look at the people on that spectrum of economics and, you see where the white males are and you see where, people of color are, and particularly people of color that are women. And it's really, let's go from one end to the next. So we do need people in there who can understand the things that we experience as women, the things we experience as people of color, particularly Black Americans, and the fact that it's hurtful to Black Americans when you have ancestry and families that have died for this country, who went to war for this country, who built this country, and then you still don't want to give them a chance. So it's difficult. It's a tough pill to swallow. And you wonder why, you're being lumped into this multicultural, thing. But this man here, Mr. Kavanaugh, he couldn't give 2 doodle balls about whether you're a minority or whether you're a woman. I mean, it's all about him. It's all about him and the people who look like him and those who are going to support what he says. I'm sorry, but he's almost like a mini Trump. I don't want to even say mini. He's almost like a clone. There's so many of them, and we only get to see them misbehaving when they're placed before the public, so we can really see who they really are. And if this goes over, I'm just going to say, if this goes over and he gets in, do you know what that's going to do to local municipalities and leadership and things like that? All these men are going to feel like they can behave that way. and including the black ones, the black men, they will also feel like, women are nothing. We can do whatever we want to do to them. What are they going to do? Or you get the other thing where we do have, and thank you men out there who know that this stuff actually happens to women, and you are supporting your wives and your sisters and your moms, and so forth and so on. But the thing is that this man, I don't think he's ready for prime time. I really don't. And that's just my opinion, which means nothing to anybody. But when you're looking at a person who is spoiled, who's rotten, who's vindictive, who's got all these kind of dark, evil traits, you might want to think twice. I'm just saying, we need more women. We need more women, minorities. And please, can we get a sister in there somewhere? Some way, somehow? There's got to be one somewhere on this United States soil. I'm just saying. You ain't heard it from me because I ain't want to gossip. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. And it went a little longer than what I wanted to, but I had to give you some statistics and some numbers too, just to build a foundation to say, please, Mr. Kavanaugh, pull yourself together. I know you're a spoiled rat. Go have a beer. Get over it. You'll be okay. You'll be all right. You'll have plenty of money. Your wife, your kids, they'll all be taken care of. It's set up that way. Don't you know that? You know that. Okay. Talk to you later. Have a good one, guys. Does anybody